Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, FM. Today is Thursday, September 11th, an even day. I'm Quinn.
And I'm Jordan. Traditionally, we would provide you with today's announcements on FMTV, but today marks the 24th anniversary of the September 11th attacks that took place in 2001.
The terrorist attacks that day saw passenger planes crash into both the World Trade Centers in New York City and in the Pentagon in Alexandria, Virginia.
A fourth plane would crash in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, which is located about 90 minutes southeast of Pittsburgh.
The attack took 2,977 lives that day and would affect the lives of people all over the world. Once the dust had settled, stories of hope and heroes began to surface.
One of our stories belongs to our own Mr. Gengloff, a business teacher and volleyball coach here at the high school, whose friend taught us all a lesson in bravery.
So Wells, he was one of my roommates in college. I met him junior year. He was looking for a place to live. He was a unique individual. He was a ton of fun, wanted to live every weekend like it was going to be the best ever. At heart, he was just a truly caring individual, and he was a great friend and a loyal friend. I, at the time, noticed that he would have a red bandana at times. Every time he'd come back from lacrosse practice, he'd have one on his head. He would carry him around. Once 9/11 happened, that was, an incredible shock to all of us. I remember that day like it happened last week. I got a phone call early that morning from one of my other roommates saying that, hey, a plane crashed into one of the World Trade Center buildings. And he's like, I just talked to Wells, the plane didn't hit his building, he's fine. And so I sat there watching the news and I watched the second plane crash into Wells' building. His company had actually set up a website where the employees could check in and say like, oh, this is so-and-so, I'm okay. And so we sat there for hours refreshing the website, trying to see if Wells was checking in. And he wasn't all day. We got to later that night, and he still hadn't checked in, and that's kind of when reality set in that probably something the worst had probably happened. I guess the New York Times started publishing articles about survivors. A couple of the stories kept referencing a man in a red bandana, and Wells' mom, Allison, she put it together that it had to be Wells that they were talking about. So she got in touch with one of the women whose her story was in the New York Times, and she sent this woman a picture of Wells and was like, sorry. She said, was this the man that saved you? And she was like, oh my God, yeah, this is the guy. He had actually carried her down probably like 18, 20 flights of stairs. He carried her down and handed her off to uniformed firefighters who were coming up looking for people. And Wells went back up. And he made several trips. At this point in time, I think they credit for him saving up to 17 people. Several times he could have walked out of the building before it collapsed, and he just kept going back up. And it came out after the fact that Wells was going to be leaving his job as a trader on Wall Street, and he wanted to go become a New York City fireman. So he lost his life, but I like to look at it as he went out doing something that he truly wanted to be doing, which was helping people and saving people. There was a great sense of loss for a long time. There still is. But I believe that his impact that he's left on the world is amazing, and it's great. And I think that his story is so powerful, it's worth repeating, and just to keep his legacy carrying on as long as I can. He's not here to do it, so I feel the responsibility that I need to keep carrying on his legacy as long as I can.
Thank you, Mr. Gengloff, for sharing the story of Wells.
We now would like to end our broadcast with a moment of silence for those lives that were lost that day 24 years ago. Thank you.
Be well, FM.